Welcome to That Groovy Scoobcast!
Who are you?
I am the Hermit of the podcasters, and you're just in time for my podcast!
I think I'm just gonna click over to the Scooby-Dudes.
Oh, but I insist! It's not often I have listeners!
I can see why.
Welcome to Season 3 of the go-to audio hub for all things Scooby-Doo. My name's Derek.
And I'm Shannon.
Thank you for joining us. I am really excited to be returning to Scooby-Doo. Where are you?
I missed it.
Yeah?
And this is one of, my favorite episodes of the season, so I was excited.
Oh, for, the one we're reviewing today, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, today we're going to be reviewing Jeepers, It's the Creeper from Season 2 of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? I hadn't seen this episode in a while.
No, it's been a while, but I did remember that I liked it.
Yeah. So we were both delighted to return to it. But before we start expressing our thoughts on the episode, we are going to kick off Season 3's Mystery Machine Match. If this is your first time joining us for That Groovy Scoobcast, the Mystery Machine Match is our weekly trivia challenge where Shannon and I try to see which one of us knows Scooby-Doo better than the other. As always, Shannon, you can go first.
Mystery Inc. meets the ghost of the Mad Doctor near what famous waterfall? Niagara Falls or Victoria Falls?
Niagara?
Yeah.
Congratulations. I'm so happy that I've gotten that right. We're off to a good start, guys.
Great start, great start.
Okay, here's your first question. What kind of film award has Scooby-Doo received? A Silver Setter or a Golden Rover?
A Silver Setter?
Golden Rover.
Oh, I figured it was going to be gold. I don't know why I didn't guess that.
I don't know.
What Party of 5 Star sang the Scooby-Doo theme song for Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders?
I have no idea.
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Oh.
I honestly didn't know she sang.
No, I had no idea.
I didn't know she sang, so that was...
I'm not really familiar with Jennifer Love Hewitt's work anyway, other than Ghost Whisperers and her brief time on Criminal Minds, but that's it.
No, I like her. I just absolutely never knew she sang, so that was...
Interesting.
A fun fact, but not our fun fact.
I guess not, yeah. Okay, well, here's your next question. Vincent Van Ghoul has black hair with a streak of what color running down the center of his scalp? White? Yep, that's correct. I thought you would get that.
Yeah.
You've seen him several times.
Yeah.
What's your last question for me?
Yes or no? Dr. Wagner Wolf was a character on the show.
No. I don't know.
Yes, he was.
Damn.
On what show? I don't know.
I don't know. I like when it just doesn't tell you at all.
It's just surprise guess it.
Okay, well, here's your last question. Which one of the 13 ghosts of Scooby-Doo is the hostess for the Spine Tingler movie? Zamba or Rumba?
Zamba?
Yes, it's Zamba.
Oh. I know Ramba's that was the Roomba. But I still got it right, so I don't care.
A Roomba hosting a movie?
Well, that's why I was like, the Ramba is wrong. That's a machine.
Well, it looks like you're starting this season off to a good start. You finished today's episode with 2 points, and I'm finishing with 1. Pay attention to me.
I'm trying to figure out where Wagner Wolf is, and I think he's a real person.
That's great. I'm happy for him if he is.
I was trying to figure out what show he was, at Jeopardy? He was on Jeopardy.
Great. Happy for him.
What does that have to do with Scooby-Doo? Or Hanna-Barbera?
Oh, it looks like you're finishing in the lead today.
Boom. It's going to stay like that.
You're going to be in the lead all season.
I'm going to try really hard.
Well, you ready to start talking about Jeepers, It's the Creeper?
Definitely.
All right, well, let me get you a premise real quick. This premise is coming from Scoobypedia. A school dance at a rural barn is disrupted by the Creeper, a zombie-like figure who has been seen robbing banks at night in town. The gang searches the woods and countryside for clues while being chased by the creeper and encountering an eccentric old hermit who wants their company.
I mean, they do.
That was a weird thing just to throw in the premise, though. Like, you know, I imagine these aren't, like, official premises. It's just, like, you know, the most convenient premise to find. But the hermit didn't play a whole lot to the episode, to be honest.
He just kind of hung out.
He contributed to our opening quote of the episode.
He was our red herring, but we never believed it for a second.
Well, I mean, the gang sure did. They were ready to get him arrested.
Oh, 100%.
Velma was just like, I don't buy it for a minute. He definitely is the creeper. Like, Velma, you're wrong.
That was like the only time we'll see Velma.
They had no evidence for this guy.
No. They literally stood there and Fred was like, so what do you think? And they were like, yeah, definitely him.
Definitely him. Like, no evidence, no...
100% is him.
Definitely. I also like that the premise mentions that the creeper robs multiple banks when he's really only robbing one.
Just one. His own.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So the episode starts off. We see this man. He's in a uniform. He's driving his car late at night.
Looking very nervous.
He did look nervous. And, like, we understand why now. Like, you know, someone's out to get him. Do you think he knew that the bank president was, like, going to be coming after him?
I don't know. Like, I want to say yes, but then, like, maybe not in the way. Because he got out of his car so willingly. It was like, oh, I'll move this, like, tree. Like, if I thought that somebody was after me and there was a tree in the middle of the road, I'd be like, I'm going to turn around and find a different way to get home.
Can we talk about how Mr. Carlswell, the bank president, who does turn out to be the creeper in the end, really early, spoiler alert, but he chopped down a tree.
Yeah.
To get this man.
And I mean, it was a thick tree. Like, that took him time.
Yeah. Took him a minute. And he was probably wearing the creeper costume, too, while he did it.
100%. Definitely.
So he gets out, and he's trying to, you know, shove the tree out of the road, and that's when the creeper pops out of the bushes and attacks.
Yeah.
End scene.
That's it.
Then we see the gang. They're in the mystery machine. They're on their way to a school dance, which is being held on an old farm. Velma's, like, really excited about this dance. I think she's going to find the one tonight.
She dances with Shaggy.
Shaggy steps on her foot while dancing, so...
And then Scooby takes Shaggy and they dance. But, no, Velma's very excited about it. Like, the gang is really excited. To the point where, like, Fred... Like, a few minutes after what we're talking about, like, Fred's just like, screw this. Like, we're going to the dance.
We'll get to that.
But, like, they're all very, very excited for this.
Shaggy says that he's really excited for the chocolate-covered corn on the cob that's going to be at this dance.
Scooby is in the back of the van, like, getting a tie, putting on aftershave, combing his hair.
He's got a vanity in the mystery machine.
Yeah. He's, like, he's getting ready.
He's also ready to find the one tonight. At this high school dance.
Which is Shaggy. Everybody's one is Shaggy.
Basically. They basically keep driving and they do find the bank guard. He's laying out in the middle of the road with the tree that, you know, that's down in the road. His car is off to the side, completely, like, wrecked. And they all got out of the car, and Fred's like, look, it's a bank guard. And my thing is, how do you know that he's a bank guard?
Well, and my question is, how did you know he was a bank guard? And then, like, he asks, like, is he okay? And Daphne's bent over, and she's like, oh, yeah, he's fine. Like, he just got a, like, conk on the noggin, or whatever she says.
He's still unconscious,
like, he's still unconscious. And I'm like, excuse me, Daphne, when did you become a nurse? Like, you are still in high school. Call the police.
Well, we're going to find out in a moment why the police are not going to be helpful this episode. But I just like that there's no identifying factors to how this man is a bank guard. But
he's just in a suit.
Fred just knows bank guard. That's bank guard.
Well, and every time after when we see the bank guard, like in flashbacks and everything, you see him in his guard uniform.
Yeah, but there's, like, nothing that indicates specifically, no, exactly, like, bank guard.
But, like, so every time we see him pass this, yes, it's obvious he's a bank guard. In this case, he's literally just wearing a suit. Like, he's just a person.
Mm-hmm. Shaggy and Velma examine the car. They're saying that it looks like he got in a pretty bad accident. But Shaggy points out that, like, all of the wreck and devastation to the car is on the inside of the car, not the outside.
Yeah, like, the outside is, like, untouched.
That's a pretty notable, like, forensics
See, they give Shaggy so much shit, and it's like, because even later in this episode, they make a joke about Shaggy, like, never finding clues, and I'm like, he's the only real detective. Fuck off.
I don't even feel like I would observe that if I were in this situation, to be completely honest.
Everything would just be such a mess. I'd just be like, oh my god, like, you're dying.
The plot that the Creeper is trying to accomplish in this episode is he's trying to get this piece of paper from the bank guard. My thing is, he completely wrecked that car on the inside. Like, he was tearing out stuffing from the seats, and there's springs everywhere. It's just like, what did he do? Like, physically, what did he do when he got into the car? Did he just take an axe to it or something?
Well,
the same axe he used to cut down the tree.
Exactly, he had an axe on him.
Yep, my question is asked and answered.
There you go.
They find that the bank guard has awoken for a moment, and he, murmurs. He says, "The flame will tell the Creeper."
And then hands them this piece of paper. Here's my issue. If you have the time to say, "The flame will tell the Creeper," just be like, "Coswald is the Creeper."
Go call the police.
Excuse me, 911, I have an emergency.
Carswell is a thief.
Yeah. Like, Carswell's robbing his own bank and then pass back out.
Dead.
Like, the gang probably still wouldn't care, but at least, you did your part.
Scooby, right at the same time, finds a sheet of paper that's just lying on the ground that has the bank president's address.
Yes.
I like that they just look at it and they're like, oh, he lives near here. I mean, I guess they didn't have Google Maps back then, so they were probably a lot more, aware of their surroundings, but they're also in the middle of nowhere.
Also, it's Ohio. The whole state is, 2 feet long. It'll take you 6 hours to get through it, but it's only 2 feet long.
So they decide to take the bank guard, put him in the mystery machine, and they go to the bank president's house. They get there, and he's like, "You did a good thing bringing him here, kids. I'm really glad that he's fine, and he's, unconscious on the couch.
I'm so glad some good citizens like you found my bank guard." Did he happen to say anything?
Right, yeah.
Were there any clues there?
He proceeds to go, "Do you have any idea who did this?" He's fishing to see if they know anything.
He's like, "It was me, but do you know that?"
He might as well be asking that, yes. And they're like, "No, he was just lying there." And then he handed us this paper. Velma just pulls out the paper and she's scrunching it in her hand. And I'm just like, Velma, you're going to ruin that paper.
Well, and my issue too is at this point, because she's, she hands out the paper and she's like, he said, this is what he said. And here's the clue we have. Here's the whole situation. And then Fred calls the police. And they're like, "Oh, the sheriff's going to be out of town, so, you're SOL until he gets back."
I think they said, 3 hours.
Yeah.
That they won't be able to
Something
get anybody.
Like that.
That's what? Is Coolsville just completely without any police enforcement right now?
The purge is going on.
Basically.
And, so that was great. And then, but Fred literally is just like, "Well, we have a dance to go to. See you, bye."
Does not matter. This is not his problem.
No.
This mystery is not his problem.
He was like, "Look, I will take every, sniff of a mystery I can get, but not tonight."
Because this happens after Mr. Carswell, explains to the gang, who the Creeper is.
Yeah.
He's just,
they
saying...
know what's going on.
Yeah, they know, it's a mysterious phantom. And at night, he goes into the bank and...
He can walk through walls.
Yeah, he walks through walls because all the doors and windows are locked from the inside.
To which case, I looked right at Derek and I was like, it's an employee. It's somebody.
Duh. Right.
Duh. But... I mean, Fred just literally doesn't care.
Disregards it.
My only thought is he's like, "I don't give a fuck about this. I'm about to get laid tonight. I'm really not trying to deal with this mystery right now." That's my only thought.
His hormones are raging right now.
Because he's like, he will take any sniff of a mystery at all. He will make up a mystery when there is not a mystery there. And then, tonight he was just like, "Don't give a fuck."
It's handed to him on a silver platter.
Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna go to this party." And then they keep the paper.
That's what I was also thinking. I'm like, why didn't the bank president take the paper?
Yeah, he would have been
if they're not going to, address the mystery that's here, give him the evidence. That just makes sense.
I think that, like, Velma had it the whole time. So my assumption is maybe Velma was just like, well, Fred, you may not give a fuck, but I do. So, like...
But they never talked about it again.
No. I don't know.
Not to mention the fact that they just assumed that when the creeper did appear at the dance, they just assumed that that was the creeper.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they have no idea what this guy looks like and no indicator of, like, what to expect from this guy.
Like, the creeper could have literally just been, like, a masked man, like a masked mass murderer, and they were just like, oh, it's the creeper, don't worry.
Well, that name, the creeper, it doesn't tell you anything about, like, what he looks like.
No, the only thing it says is that he's going to sit in your van and wait for you.
Like old Iron Face, for example. When I hear that, I'm like, so... Iron Mask?
Yeah.
Makes
like, if
sense.
somebody starts coming at me and has an iron on their face, then, like, I know to run.
Well, I mean, I'm going to run from the creeper anyway. He's also scary as shit.
Yeah, he also looks terrifying. But he could just be, like, a hunchback man that is mute.
He could be the Hermit of the Hill.
He could be the Hermit of the Hills. Yeah, like,
He could be a rapist. I don't know.
I don't know who he is. Like, he could be a mass murderer.
There's no indicator of who this man should look like at all.
And the first time we see them, the first time we see the creeper, he, like, turns off the lights at the dance, and everybody's like, "Aw, man, like, bummer." And Fred's like, no, wait. We can keep partying.
Well, before we get to that, can I actually just talk about the dance?
Oh, go ahead,
quick?
yes.
Yeah. So they do end up leaving the president's house. They go to the dance. I like that on the barn that the dance is held in, they just have a big banner and it just says school dance. That's it.
It's because there's only one school.
In the entire state of Ohio.
In all of Ohio, there's only one school.
So inside the barn, it keeps cutting between the main 4 human members of the gang dancing together and this other couple that are also dancing together. Like, it's just bouncing between the two. For a few moments, I'm just thinking, so Coolsville High only has 6 students.
All of Ohio only has 6 children in this whole state.
Yeah, that's it.
So then I decided that maybe those were their, 2 oldest friends that we just met.
Nate and Kimmy.
Yeah. And I was like, that's definitely Nate and Kimmy. That's, like, we've known them since the 70s.
Right. Shaggy and Velma are dancing together, and like we said before, Shaggy's, like, stomping on Velma's foot while they're dancing.
I mean, but, like, full-on stomping.
It hurts.
Yeah.
Like, Shaggy, you're an asshole.
And he's like, this is some neat dance floor. And she was like, yeah, why don't you try dancing on it instead of on my feet?
Same.
Yeah.
So he goes off and starts dancing with Scooby, and then they go to the snack table.
Yeah.
I like that, earlier when they were in the Mystery Machine, he's talking about how he's so excited about chocolate-covered corn on the cob. But, like, that just sounds like something that Shaggy wants. Why is the school dance providing that to them?
If we have any listeners in Ohio, is that a thing that you guys eat?
How about just in general? Like, does anyone eat chocolate-covered corn on the cob? Like...
Spoiler alert, we will at the end of the season.
Oh. Not excited. But, he's over at the table and he's dipping some corn on the cob in some chocolate. And there's also, like, a weird-looking just slab of pink butter or something that's also on the table.
My only thing is, like, it looked like cow tongue. And, like, I've never seen it in person, so I don't know for sure. But, like, I've seen it on, like, the cooking shows that I watch and everything. So, like... When it was first sitting there, I was like, so you really got some, like, chocolate-covered corn and cow tongue. But only one. Like, you have to cut it and share it between the 6 students that are there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And then when you get, like, an outshot of the whole table, you see that they have eggs.
Yes.
And then... Oh, I wrote down
eggs.
Wait, I wrote down everything. There was eggs, mashed potatoes, something that I'm going to assume is, like, sweet potatoes or maybe yams. And then the cow's tongue and the chocolate-covered corn. But they had corn on the cob and then a thing of chocolate to dunk it in so that, like, you personally can get how much chocolate you want on your corn.
Seems like a great school dance.
Like, that seems like something that, like, you and I would put together with, like, the $5 in our accounts.
But, like school dance and you're serving that? Like, why not, like, pizza?
Yeah.
And
like, they just went to the grocery store and they were like, let's buy what they have on sale.
They didn't even do that. They got them from the farm.
Yeah. No, okay, probably 100%. That makes so much sense.
So then while they're all dancing, the creeper, like you said, he goes up to the fuse box and he shuts down the power to the barn.
So everybody's just like, oh, super bummer, like, oh no. And Fred is literally like, no, guys, we can keep partying. Because like, Fred wants this party to keep going.
I like that Velma, like, screamed, oh my goodness, when the lights went out.
And so Fred's like, we can go over to the malt shop. And everybody's like, yeah. And then that's when Velma yells, that's such a good idea. And it's just like, wow, she's so supportive.
And so we also see that there are now more students in there.
Yeah, now
I counted, there's a total of 14, including the gang. Yes.
Yeah. Human people at the dance. And one dog.
And a dog. So they decide to all just hop in their cars and they're going. Shaggy and Scooby volunteer to be the cleanup committee, though, in the barn because they want to eat all the food.
Yeah.
So while the rest of the gang is in the mystery machine, like, just ready to go, Scooby and Shaggy are walking up the table and they're eating all the food and taking all the paper plates and putting them in a big pile.
Now, they put all the paper plates in this box and they pick it up and they take it out to the back of the barn. And Shaggy's literally like, yeah, Scoob, we'll just leave these paper plates over here by this ugly scarecrow.
He literally just said, like, we're just going to dump them over here. It's like,
we're just going to litter.
Okay. I'm sure the people who own this farm are going to be so appreciative of that.
Yeah, you're never going to be able to rent this farm again.
They
also, like, broke into the house and broke a window also. So they're never going to be able to rent this farm again.
Do you think they were home when that happened? The family that owns the farm?
I really hope not. Because, like, could you imagine, like, at that point, you're just sleeping. So, because, like, it was late. So, like, you're sleeping in your bed, and all of a sudden these people, like,
because all the lights were off originally in the house.
And, like, they broke into the house, turned on every single light in the house, meaning, like, they went through every single room. So you're just sleeping, and all of a sudden this gang runs in, and then this creeper runs in, and then they jump out your window, breaking your window, and you're just sitting in bed like, bro, what the fuck just happened?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves too much, though. So when they're going to dump the paper plates by the scarecrow actually turned out to be the creeper. He doesn't look anything like a scarecrow, for one. He's just a hunchback man with green skin. He's wearing a green, like, you know, like a business jacket, I think. He looks like a businessman.
Yeah.
But, and then he, like, makes this horrific noise that
just like,
you don't... Yeah, he doesn't make that noise again at all throughout the rest of the episode.
I think he might make it one other time.
But he's just like, ooh, and Shaggy's like, ooh.
Same.
Shaggy and Scooby panic. They throw the box of paper plates all over the place. The box lands on top of them, and they just dash out in front of the barn. Velma's standing outside the barn, like, wondering where they are at. And they just, like, push her onto the ground and go hide in a haystack.
Yeah, they ran her over.
Daphne and Fred, like, hurry over to her and, like, are you okay? And she's like, I will be once I find my glasses. And
she was pissed.
Yeah, she was. And then the creeper shows up, and Fred and Daphne are just like, oh, what is that? And Fred's like, that must be the creeper. They go and hide in the same haystack as Shaggy and Scooby, leaving Velma there to die.
But they, like, throughout this episode, they all just accepted their fate. Like, it was just like, I'm gonna die.
So Velma finally finds her glasses. She freaks out when she sees it, who's right there in front of her.
Yeah.
She scoots across the ground on her knees. I'm imagining that stinging feeling when, like, you scrape up your knees.
And, like, she's at a barn. Like, it's not like that's, like, taking care of land. Like, it's, like, rocks and gravel, dead grass. Yeah.
That's disgusting.
It would hurt
that would
like
hurt
shit.
So bad. And her knees are bare, too, because she's wearing a short skirt. So now they're all in the haystack. And this initiates the main chase scene of the episode where they play I'm in Love with an Ostrich. Daydreaming. That's the name of the song, is Daydreaming.
Insert music here.
It's my favorite Scooby-Doo song ever. It was a fantastic treat. I like to be reminded about the perks of, being with an ostrich.
I'm going to go buy one when I leave here.
Yeah.
I'm going to show up. Stephanie will kill me. Show up, be like, what do you got there? A smoothie.
I was just thinking that too. During the chase scene, they're running all over the barn. They're running throughout that farmhouse, like we said before, where they break into the house. At one point, the creeper chases Scooby and Shaggy to the top of the barn. They hop out that top window there, and they, slide down this rope that's on a pulley. I think the creeper, pulled on the rope, and then Scooby ended up coming back up, and then Scooby just kicked the fuck out of the creeper. So Creeper's just like, ah.
The creeper, doesn't move when he gets kicked either.
Ever.
Except for when Velma kicked him.
Scooby falls down, Shaggy comes back up, and Shaggy hits his head on, the wooden banister that's just sticking out of the barn.
I mean, to the point that I was, surprised that the wooden banister didn't break.
Or kill him.
Yeah. That was definitely some, brain injury.
They land in this horse trailer that's, just sitting outside the barn now.
It was a hayride.
A hayride, yeah. Fred,
Without
Daphne...
hay.
Yeah, no hay in there. I feel gypped. Fred, Daphne, and Velma are now sitting in there as well, and when Shaggy lands in the back hay trailer... Is that what it's called, a hay trailer?
I think so.
And when Shaggy lands in the trailer, the horse, panics and then starts pulling the trailer, and they're just off for the races. The creeper finds a horse... Somewhere. And starts chasing them. The horse carriage is, pulled across, a cliff that's just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Why is this anywhere near the farm at all? I don't understand. And then the creeper on the horse tries to follow them. He leaps over the cliff. The horse and he fall. And then the horse just springs back up and then continues to chase. He defied gravity right then and there.
I'm defying gravity. But yeah, he defies gravity and just keeps going. Floats back up and just keeps running. The gang's trailer, hits a hitch or hits a pothole or something, yeah. And so the trailer comes apart from the horse, and the gang and Freddie, Daphne, and Velma all fall off the cliff to their death. While Shaggy and Scooby are just holding on for dear life on the horse.
They should have died.
And when you see them next, Velma did.
When Shaggy and Scooby are being dragged by the horse stops before it goes off a cliff. And the momentum throws Scooby and Shaggy into a chicken coop.
I didn't understand that.
The physics of that.
Well, yes. And then also just was the chicken coop door open and they just happened to fall
I think it was.
Right inside of it? They didn't fully fall all the way in?
Or maybe they just landed in front of it. I don't remember.
I don't know. It was a weird situation.
They go and hide in the chicken coop, and the creeper, comes and follows in. He's looking around and he sees all these chickens. They're just, sitting, chilling. And then along the line of identical chickens, you see Scooby disguised as a chicken.
With a red
rubber glove on his head. The creeper, not realizing that Scooby is not a chicken, just leaves the chicken coop. Fine, that's fine. And Scooby is sitting on top of an egg, and Shaggy's hiding behind the whole row of chickens. And this is when that egg spontaneously hatches, and a baby chick comes out.
Chip, chip.
And the chick sees Scooby and now thinks that Scooby is his mother. Great mother figure.
If I was born and I was just that dog is mine.
Mom.
Reminds me of that little book that you, that everybody had when they were little, that, Are You My Mother? You're just born and you're are you my mom? And he's no, I am dog. And they were I am dog too.
The chick does go through an identity crisis because Scooby tries to set him straight, and he's you, cheep, 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 cheep. Me, rough, 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 rough.
And so then the chick goes,
yep. And Shaggy quickly is just like, great, now he thinks he's a dog.
Congratulations. You're a mother.
So they go to continue to find Fred, Daphne, and Velma, and the chick is now following Scooby, so he tags along for the rest of the episode. Fred, Daphne, and Velma are underneath the horse trailer that crashed at the bottom of this cliff, and Daphne's like just trying to fix her hair. She's out. She's up. Good. Yeah, she's fine. Fred's crawling out. He's okay too. He's like, oh my god, that was crazy. Then there's Velma, who just looks like a disaster.
Velma is wrecked.
Her hair is just all messed up. She just looks like she's ready to accept death with open arms.
Velma went to a Screamo concert last night, got caught in a mosh pit, and was out until 7 a.m., and that's how she came home.
She looked insane. She just looked like a disaster.
Yeah.
But, they're just, basking in how that was scary and they could have gotten hurt and da-da-da. And they're like, maybe we can, continue to find clues around here, and they conveniently do find one. Velma points out this hidden car. So they go and look in it, and the only thing that really seems out of, the usual about it is that there's a bunch of torn up negatives in the front seat of the car.
So Velma makes a great assumption because, she's the smart one.
She's the smartest one of them all.
So she picks up these torn up negatives and goes, somebody doesn't want somebody to see a picture of somebody.
Groundbreaking.
Thanks. That was life-shattering news.
This is helpful.
She's the smart one. She's the one we put all of our trust into.
I'm assuming this is the clue that really, points them in the direction that the piece of paper they have is a photograph.
Yeah.
So they go to try and find Shaggy and Scooby now. I think at this point, Shaggy and Scooby got attacked by the creeper again, and I wrote down that Scooby kicks him again. I think this is when he was saving the chick from the creeper, because the chick kind of just went out wandering, and the creeper's like looking at it.
No, is what happened was they were hiding from the creeper, and the chick pulled a Scrappy and went out there and started trying to bark Chip at the creeper. Yes,
he was barking at the creeper.
And I was just sitting there what, we don't have a Scrappy yet, so we have this fucking chicken. And so then Scooby pulls an Uncle Scooby and runs out and grabs the chick and is rocking it like a baby, and he's like, hee hee ha.
And then he kicks the creeper.
And then he kicks him and runs.
This is the second time this episode he's been kicked by Scooby.
And it never does anything.
No, it doesn't. So they go running. Fred, Daphne, and Velma, who at this point made that comment about how Shaggy and Scooby are not going to find a clue. That'll be the day.
Yeah.
And then they hear, some wrestling going on, so they go and hide behind some trees. And this is when Fred goes, all right, when I count to 3 and I give the signal, we're going to jump them. So he's like, ready? Now! And that's the signal.
And they all just leap on Shaggy and Scooby. And then, so when it comes to they're all on top of Shaggy and Scooby's back, and then my favorite line is Shaggy goes, well, Fred, I know whose back you're on, but whose side are you on?
Fair. I mean, they just got the shit beat out of them from the rest of the game.
That was a 2-minute, dust pile.
I noted that before they hopped behind the trees, Velma was just staring off into the distance while Fred was laying out his plan.
I've decided. This is what I've decided. So she's possessed, and every once in a while, the demon will take over for a minute, and so she just kind of stands there in awe, and then 10 years from now, she goes off to quote unquote camp, and it's just the decade of Scooby and Shaggy and Scrappy. She's off at a church becoming unpossessed, and then she comes back and she's clean.
The only thing I can support that with is the fact that she snaps her fingers and instantly lights a fire.
Yeah.
So that's hellfire.
Yeah.
Headcanon.
She's possessed. Velma is possessed.
They find a trail of footprints nearby. It's just going around them. Like, they're not just, happenstance standing, like, on top of them or anything like that.
It literally,
it looks like they're avoiding them.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, while we were having this existential crisis about Velma being possessed, the creeper just walked by and nobody noticed.
So they decide to follow them, thinking that they must be the creeper's footprints. And on their way following them, Shaggy's just like, hey, so, can we, like, hurry this up? And Velma says, like, we're not here to try and save time. We're trying to make contact with the creeper. And my thing is, just a little bit ago, Scooby was telling the gang about how they keep running into the creeper everywhere. Like, wherever they're going, he's just everywhere. So, like, just sit tight for a minute. He will show up again. At this point, the creeper has already climbed in your mystery machine. Most likely.
Yeah, at this point, like,
I think he's already sitting in the mystery machine.
Well, that's my thought, because, like, he loses them, and he's just like, well, I know where this machine is. Like, they'll come back for it.
Mm-hmm. The footprints lead to this bridge. The bridge is, like, rolled up, and it goes over to this, like, cliff cavern.
Yeah.
And, the bridge is rolled up onto the other side, so the gang can't unroll it. So
it's not a welcome mat.
No. Fred offers Scooby a Scooby snack in order to cross on the ropes, which, major dick move, Fred. Tosses him the Scooby snack, and the chick eats it.
Fucking chickens.
And the gang still holds Scooby accountable for having to cross the rope. He didn't even get to enjoy that Scooby snack.
They do that all the time to him.
I know, but this one just seemed really, like, that got under my skin a bit.
This was, like, the first time they did it to them.
Scooby should sue.
Yeah. Well, because, like, Velma's just flat out like, well...
A deal's a deal.
A deal's a deal. Like, get the fuck on that rope.
Right.
And I want to note that, like, while Scooby is risking his life across these wires, that, like, he's falling and, like, the wires are twisting and, like, he's just, like, about to die. The entire time... The laugh track is very quietly, like, laughing underneath that entire scene.
I always forget that there's a laugh track in Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?
Same.
It just does not, like, register to me.
No, it always
because
catches
it's a cartoon.
Me, yeah. It catches me off guard every time. Like, I'm like, was that people laughing?
I noticed it when I'm watching, like, a sitcom. Like, a live-action recorded sitcom. But in a cartoon, it's just weird.
Yeah.
So he does make it to the other side. He unrolls the bridge and lets the rest of the gang cross. When they get inside, Shaggy's like, oh, cool, no one's here. And this is when they meet the Hermit of the Hills. Like, this guy replaces Parker from E.I.E.I.O. as my favorite Scooby-Doo character now. I mean, Mule will always be, like, goals as my favorite character.
Find Mule.
Find Mule, yes, he's still missing. But the Hermit of the Hills... he walks up to Shaggy and Scooby and he's just like, welcome to my cave. And Shaggy's just like, who are you? I'm the Hermit of the Hills and you're just in time for dinner. Meanwhile, Fred, Daphne, and Velma are off to the side and Fred's like, what do you guys think? Like, could he be the creeper? And Daphne's just like, no, he looks worse. And I'm like, same. She, like, wasted no time saying that either.
No, and, like, the best thing to Fred asking, like, what do you guys think? Is that there was no, like, you don't even know what he was asking, but, like, the girls knew exactly what he was asking. Because he literally,
No, he did say. He said, what do you girls think? Could he be the creeper?
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
okay.
He actually asked that.
I missed that.
Velma was, like, really vindictive, though. She's just like, oh, well, that disguise isn't fooling me. I think he is the creeper.
Which, like... The Hermit is, like, 4 feet tall.
I guess, like, they maybe do match in terms of, like, body type, but...
I don't know.
I just like that they have no evidence at all that the Hermit is the creeper. Like, this is really poor detective work. I'm sorry.
No, and to be fair, Fred's not interested at all.
Right, yeah, he's not invested in this mystery to begin with.
Yeah, but so...
It's ruining his dance. That's why he's involved now.
He's literally just trying to get to the malt shop so he can have a shake and go fuck.
Yeah.
But, like, they're convinced it's him, and they're ready to call 911 and have him arrested.
Yeah.
Like, mystery solved, it's him.
Can we talk about what the Hermit wanted to serve the gang? He wanted to serve them squirrel stew with pickled bat wings and crabgrass roots.
Yum.
Shaggy tried it. He thought it was disgusting.
He didn't know what he was trying.
That's true. He didn't know what he was trying, but he did not enjoy it.
No.
When they do leave the cave, because Shaggy's just like, nope, not interested, and he's just like, and the Hermit's just like, no, stay, come back, and he's just like screaming, and I like that Fred was just like, hurry, we should get out of here while we still can. I'm like, are you worried that the Hermit's gonna do something? Like, what's he gonna do to you? For one, there's 4 of you compared to him, plus you have a Great Dane.
They might be the new cave specialty.
That's true, because the squirrel stew is the current cave specialty.
And pickled bat wings means, like, he was pickling those for at least a month.
He's been preparing for this meal.
Yeah. Like, at least a week, tops a month. He's been waiting for this meal.
I want to know this guy's backstory. Like, why are you living in this cave? Just, you know? Because I don't want to say that he did not impact the story at all, because, I mean, he kind of did, because, you know, they did suspect him as the creeper.
Yeah.
But also, when they leave the Hermit's cave, and, like, they kind of just like, okay, we're gonna go call the sheriff, and then they get attacked by the creeper.
I'm calling the police.
Yeah, but, like, the Hermit's never mentioned again.
No.
So, I'm just like, so what's the Hermit really doing there? Like, he's just chilling in that cave side.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's okay.
They do leave the cave, and they're going to go to the Mystery Machine so they can contact the authorities, who, again, are just MIA. Coolsville has no law enforcement right now.
Nope.
Anything can happen right now. Purge. Coolsville purge.
That's why they were so concerned. They literally could have been the next cave specialty, and there is no law enforcement to help them.
I guess. That's true. I noted that they are all about to climb into the Mystery Machine through the passenger door.
That on my notebook, yeah, because I was just like, he opened the door and he was like Fred opened the door and was about to get in and was just like, I'll scoot, like.
No, he didn't even say that.
No,
but like
he got in, like,
that's what he was
prepared,
going to do,
yeah.
Because they were all just about to climb in through the passenger door. But then they see the creeper sitting in the driver's seat, which, that's fine.
That's dedication. He's been sitting there for a while.
He had to have been.
Because they've been climbing through the mountains.
Yeah, because they went into the Hermit's cave, and he's just chilling there. That freaks me out is when, like, the villain is now, like, getting up in your business to where, like, he's in your car. Like, have you ever had that moment when, like, you climb into your car and you're just, like, for some reason nervous, and you, like, look in your back seat just, like, to make sure no one's there?
Okay, can I be honest? Because I do that every single time I get in my car because of that you remember Scary Stories? The book we all grew up with?
I didn't read it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so there was one called, like, The Highway something, and it was all about, like, there was somebody in this girl's back seat, and he was, like, trying to murder her, and then there was, like, a semi-truck who kept flashing his lights, because every time he would flash the lights, the guy would get back down, and so he, like, followed the girl home, and the whole time she's freaking out, because she thinks the semi-driver's, like, gonna try to run her off the road and kill her, and so then she gets home and gets out of the car, and, like, runs inside, and the guy, like, stayed in his car and, like, called the police, and then when the police showed up, they were gonna arrest the semi-driver, and he was like, oh no, there's, like, a killer in her back seat, and, like, that one always just really, like, touched my soul, and so every time I get in the car, I'm like, I'm gonna die.
I have it for a different reason for why I have every now and then look. And did you ever see that movie Untraceable?
Maybe.
Okay, I'm not gonna get into the details of it, but there's a scene where the killer does pop out of the back of the car, and you know the girl freaks out, and I just like unsettles me a little bit, you know.
Well, and especially with my car because there's 3 rows of seating and a trunk still, and I'm like, I could die.
Yeah. Well,
there's a lot for you to hide there.
It's funny, too, because this isn't the only time in this season of Scooby-Doo Where Are You where that happens. Because I think that happened in Nowhere to Hide, too. They're all in the car, and they're just casually driving, and he's, like, just in the back of the van underneath a blanket. Like, that's scary killer bullshit. Like, not okay at all.
I have to set my car on fire after that. Like, I can't even sell my car. It needs to explode.
You need to move.
I need to move.
You need to sell it and then move.
Yeah. Like, I'm selling my car and I'm leaving the country.
So, now this initiates the last chase scene of the episode. The creeper chases them back to the barn. And when they're inside the barn, somehow Shaggy winds up on a barrel.
So, when they first get to the barn, they all run inside the barn. And Velma stops running and goes, oh, wrong turn. Like, she literally just stopped dead in her tracks and was like, wrong turn.
Because Shaggy and Scooby continued the same direction that she was going.
Yeah.
So she stops. And the creeper comes up to her. And she's like, you wouldn't hit someone wearing glasses, would you? And the creeper, just like without hesitation, just grabs her glasses off of her face.
That's where she gets the face-ripping tendencies.
It stemmed from this.
Yeah.
Like, was his objective in this case where he was ripping off the glasses, was this him saying, like, well, now you're not a person wearing glasses, so now it's okay for me to hit you?
That's literally a thing. I've seen, like, asshole little bully kids do that in movies. Like, that's a thing.
Because when he did that, Velma was pissed. She, like, kicked the fuck out of him.
Velma's literally over her glasses. She's, like, it's only, like...
This is the day she goes and gets contacts.
Yeah, she's like, fucking Shaggy and Scooby, like, knocked my glasses off. I can't fucking see. This asshole's about to fucking take my glasses. Like, fuck you guys. I'm going and getting contacts.
I wonder if it ever hit home for him, because he's also wearing glasses underneath his mask.
He's an asshole.
Who wears glasses underneath their mask?
Somebody who can't see.
This is a big pet peeve of mine, is like people wearing glasses underneath a full face mask.
Well, you have vision that you can see. People who can't see have to put glasses on.
You sound personally offended. You don't even wear glasses.
I'm supposed to. I can't see.
That's not my fault.
I just blindly drive around.
That's fine. Thank you for admitting that on the podcast. I'm turning this podcast into the authorities.
Excuse me, 911. I have an emergency.
It's going to take 3 hours because, you know, the Coolsville police are all just out for the night. But...
I'll be home by then. It's okay.
So Shaggy wound up on a barrel while he was being chased by the creeper. It doesn't come back. It's fine.
Where did that barrel come from?
Don't know. But then the creeper starts chasing Fred out of the barn.
Fred literally goes, well, I guess I'm a goner.
Like, just gives up. He falls. The creeper trips over him and, you know, falls elsewhere. And I like that Fred, like, apologized to him. He's like, oh, sorry about that. Fred, he's trying to kill you.
Fred, get your life.
So now they're all in the barn. The creeper comes back in chasing them. He's riding a blue pig.
A blue pig.
And there's 2 chickens running too.
Yeah.
And
there's
then
a lot of chickens in this episode.
And then all the animals just disappear and they all run up to the top of the barn. Scooby's not there. Scooby's still on the ground.
Yeah.
But
with his chicken.
With the chick, yes. And the rest of the gang are now standing in that window on top of the barn, and they're like, what are we going to do? And Shaggy's like, what does it look like? Jump.
He's like, there's nothing else to do, bitch. Fucking jump.
So they all jump into this, a hay baler, and then the creeper also jumps in there with them. And they're all like, you know, rustling and,
you hear Daphne like,
each
take
other.
This, take that.
Take that, creeper. And Shaggy pops his head out, and he's like, Scooby, do something. So Scooby sees... No, so the chick points to Scooby, seeing that there's like an on and off button on the hay baler machine. Yeah. So Scooby presses it, and it puts all 4 members of the gang and the creeper in like little hay bales.
Individual hay bales, yeah.
So they unmask the creeper. It's the bank president, Mr. Carswell. So they must be sitting there for hours because the sheriff does come. Wherever he was, like, he's here now.
We waited.
They waited. And
Fred was like, I didn't even want to do this stupid mystery, but I'll wait.
The dance is over. Like, everyone that went to the malt shop when they left the barn, they went home.
Like, they're all at home. Because I think the mystery even ends where Fred's like, let's go to the malt shop. And I'm like, Fred, it's 2 a.m. Go home.
Everyone went home by now. So what was happening was that the piece of paper that the creeper was after this entire episode, we didn't really talk about how like he kept trying to grab the paper from the gang and they kept like, you know, folding it into little paper airplanes and tossing it everywhere and just keeping it away from him. The paper is a photograph. It shows him stealing money from the vault in the bank. Unbeknownst to the bank president, the bank guard had installed like a concealed infrared camera. It's not concealed at all. It's a huge fucking box just in the corner of the room. But he basically got caught red-handed doing it. He would take the money at the end of the day, go home, and then come back at night dressed up as the creeper, just to kind of make it look like the creeper was the one that's actually stealing the money.
Which is fair, because if your bank is robbed, like, banks have insurance, but if you're robbing your own bank and you're caught, like, you get in a lot of trouble.
Well, I feel like that's just in general, because stealing from a bank is a federal offense.
Well, yeah.
Like,
no, yeah.
That's the, like, fucking stupidest crime you can ever do is steal from a bank, because no, don't do that.
No, stealing from, like, anything with money, you're gonna get caught. But
Velma, like, just kind of snaps her fingers, and just a fire is in her fingers, and she lights...
Hellfire.
Yeah, basically, it's the hellfire. She, like, holds up the light underneath the paper, and it reveals the image.
Yeah.
So the cop's just like, well, it looks like you guys, like, you know, tied up all the loose ends. Like, you got this. Thanks, Sheriff. I don't know where you were in the last few hours.
Yeah,
but
no, the sheriff is stupid.
You're going to have a long night, because I'm sure there's other bullshit going on in Coolsville otherwise.
Have fun with that paperwork.
Yeah, fine, right. I noted that Mr. Carswell, he said blasted meddling kids. This is the very first time in the history of the Scooby-Doo franchise that you ever hear them called meddling kids. Fun fact, not the fun fact of the week, but fun fact.
Cute.
Yeah. And then they're about to leave. I think they already left the barn, and they realize that the chick is still with Scooby.
Yeah.
So they have to go and return the chick. He puts the chick with his mother. We don't really know how he knows that chicken is his mother, because we never saw the mother.
Yeah.
But he just kind of guesses.
But sure.
And then, like, 6 other eggs that are nearby all hatch as he's about to walk out. And
what cracks me up is that the whole gang is cracking up as this, like, because all the chickens are now, like, all over him, like, barking.
Thinking that thinking that he's their mother.
And, like, so the whole gang is cracking up, and then it zooms in on Shaggy, who's just, like, so distraught, and he's just like, no, this is not happening.
He's pissed.
He's like, you're not bringing those motherfucking chickens in this car.
He's more mad than Fred is about missing out on the dance.
Yeah. Yep.
I made a separate list real quick before we get to our final ratings for this episode about animation errors, I noticed. You know, because they're a lot more prevalent in these early series as they are in the later ones. So I noted that at one time, Shaggy was missing his neck.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
After they ran away from the Mystery Machine, when the creeper was inside the car.
The second time they were in the barn. Yeah,
they ran back to the barn, and as they were running, Shaggy's, like, neck is, like, all fuzzy and, like, it's weird. It looked really weird and noticeable. Like,
yeah.
I had to pause it.
It was, like, gone, but, like, somehow, like, still kind of there, but, like, it was just a floating head of hair. Yeah. It was weird.
At one time when Shaggy and Scooby were hiding in the chicken coop, we see the creeper come in, and then he's leaving, but the thing is, like, the chicken coop isn't surrounded by regular walls. It's like a bunch of screens, but you don't see the creeper through the screen. So, like, he kind of just goes invisible behind the screen.
Yeah.
I noted that Scooby had an extra collar when he pulled off the creeper's mask at the end of the episode.
He had 2?
Yeah, because he had his main blue collar, and then there was, like, another collar just sticking out from, like, underneath it. It was weird.
I don't know if I saw that.
And then the last thing is that after the mystery was solved and they're about to leave, the gang is just sitting in the mystery machine, and Daphne's usually green scarf is now purple.
Which I liked.
It looked nice, but it's not correct.
No, it's not correct, but, like, it was a good color. Like, that's what they should have gone with.
Those are the ones I caught. I'm sure there's more, but...
I did catch one. I don't know if it was necessarily, like, an animation error, but just, like, a plot, whatever. But, like, you know...
What, a plot hole?
I don't know. When Scooby was, like, getting ready in the van at the very beginning, and he's, like, got this nice tie on, and, like, we had made a comment about the tie, and he was, like, putting on aftershave, and he was, like, all dolled up. And then the second that he gets out of the van, he looks completely regular again. No tie, he's back in, like, a collar, and I was just like, you made a point to make him beautiful, and then you just completely went back to regular.
So that was Jeepers, It's the Creeper. Shannon, what did you award this episode on the Scooby Snack-O-Meter?
I actually gave it an 8.
An 8, okay. Can you talk it out?
I like this episode. It's got good music, a good chase scene. It's just a good episode. Mm-hmm. Like, the monster's actually decently scary. Like, I do like Where Are You as a season. Like, that's, like, what I grew up watching and everything. So, like, I do like it. Good music, good monster. A scary hermit living in the mountains.
He was going to do something to the gang.
Yeah. The Purge.
I awarded this episode a 7 myself.
Okay.
I also really enjoyed this episode. I think it's funny. I think there's a lot of really good gags in it. There's some weird details about the episode that I'm just like, what? But Scooby-Doo Ari was really prone to that. I think the Creeper is personally scary.
If that thing came running at me, I would die.
I would be scared of the Creeper.
I understand why Fred gave up so easily.
Well, you know, there was that point when the Creeper was charging at Shaggy and Scooby before they went and hid in the chicken coop. And, like, at that moment, I'm just like, oh my God, I would have died. If I had seen that, I would have died.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to give this one a 7. So with your 8 and my 7, we collectively give Jeepers It's the Creeper a 7.5 out of 10.
What a nice way to start this season.
I agree. So are you ready for a fun fact to kick off season 3's series of fun facts?
Sure.
It is special to this episode. A lot of the time when people talk about the Creeper, they think that he's saying creeper throughout the entire episode. Because, you know, he grunts a little bit, but he's always saying creeper, creeper. In the Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase portrayal of him, he's saying creeper. But it's actually a misconception. He's actually saying paper.
Fun.
Yeah. Because he
what
wants the paper. Yeah. But they do get that wrong, technically, in the Cyber Chase movie. Because in the Cyber Chase movie, he's just saying his name, like a Pokemon. That
was what my thought was you're just like a bad Pokemon that all he can say is his name.
But, yeah, so he's actually saying paper throughout the episode.
All right.
Yeah. So next week, we're going to be watching an episode from the new Scooby-Doo movies. Shannon, are you ready to hit our randomizer to see what we're going to be watching next week?
Yeah.
I am a lost boy from Neverland, usually hanging out.
That was an advertisement on our randomizer, guys. So, Shannon, are you ready to kick off the real randomizer?
Yes.
Okay.
Next week, we will be watching Ghastly Ghost Town.
So here is a premise coming from Scoobypedia. After the Mystery Machine crashes into a sand dune and gets stuck near the Three Stooges Ghost Town theme park, the gang try to figure out who's been scaring away the tourists.
Oh.
I don't really care for the Three Stooges myself.
I hate this episode.
Have you seen it before?
Yeah. Okay, so, like, I do like the Three Stooges. And, like, I grew up with the Three Stooges because my dad likes them. And I hate this.
Fantastic. We thought we were starting off strong, and then we get to watch this.
I felt it in my soul that, like, we were going to do this strong this season. And then we get this bullshit.
It's going to be great.
It's great.
When it comes to Scooby-Dooby news, I'm sure if you are a Scooby-Doo fan, you're aware that 2019 is going to be the year of the franchise's 50th anniversary. I know that in February, they'll be releasing the 13th Ghost Scooby-Doo movie. I think it's The Curse of the 13th Ghost.
I'm really excited for that.
I am too. So that's going to be released. I've been seeing images of some Scooby-Doo comic books having like a 50th anniversary like logo attached to them. So I'm excited to see where else that's going to appear. And, you know, you also get to look forward to the Scooby-Doo and Guess Who series that'll be coming out in the summer. Mm-hmm. I can't wait for our podcast to adapt to, you know, let that come onto our, you know, string of episodes we watch.
Oh, yeah.
But in the meantime, I did want to say, too, we are going to be introducing a wild card episode to our lineup for season 3 onward.
So the way that this wild card is going to work is at the end of our season, we're just adding another like series that we would do, except it's a wild card. So we're going to randomize a random series from Scooby-Doo, and then from there randomize an episode in there, and we're just going to watch another episode of Scooby-Doo.
It'll be great.
Just give you guys some extra content.
Well, with that, we hope that you enjoyed That Groovy Scoobcast.
Come back next week for Scooby Snack Filled Time.
Bye.
Bye.